tell us your business right now? How many business you own? And
Sure. Okay. At this moment, our company run, I would say, two businesses. Okay. One is B&B business, what we call bed and breakfast. The other one is F&B, food and beverage. And under food and beverage, at the moment, we have two brands. One is called Padi Kopitiam. Okay. Currently 3 outlets, and the other one is called Principal Cafe. Currently 2 outlets. And at this moment, we are planning for 2 more upcoming outlets in second half or first half of this year. Yes.
so what inspired you to start your business?
Okay. Basically, to me, my background was accountant. I was an auditor, okay, with the accountant qualification. But then why I changed into F&B is because I want to do something that can have the sense of fulfillment, and F&B is just a platform for me to find a fulfillment. And the fulfillment comes from making people success, making people trying to do what they love doing. And for example, in F&B, I want to let people, a barista, to do good coffee. I want to let good cook to do good food. I want to let service crew to do a good service. So this is what I find enjoyable and what I find fulfillment from.
How did you identify the location of your business?
Okay, good question. Basically, we are in food and beverage F&B line. So to me, one thing very important is who are we targeting the customer. If we know that, for example, we are targeting corporate customer, we can't open our business in Kampong or in a suburb. No, we're going to open our location, or we're going to choose our location in town area, in office block area, in area with banks or whatnot. So I think we're going to understand who is our target customer. Second thing is spending. If we are targeting, middle high, which is like our case, middle high spending, we won't be opening our outlet in a very, underdeveloped area or very small suburban area. No. And of course, then we think about where is the traffic. Is there any good traffic? Is the area matured or not matured? But first two is, I would say, definitely customer target and our price positioning.
I see. How do you manage your finances and ensure your profitability?
Okay, good question. When we talk about finances and profitability, I would say it's always about costing. A lot of time when we are going into business, or when people are going into business, they did not understand costing. My background is an accountant. I was an auditor. So numbers are what we are dealing with from day to day. So when we talk about costing, we're going to know when we are setting our selling price, our price, it's not that our competitor selling this, then we set this price. No, we're going to understand our cost structure first. So how do we ensure profitability? I would say we're going to understand our costing. So from there, we only able to set what is the price that we want to set. With a good price, with the right price, then we can only have profit. How do we get profit? Profit is from revenue. We deduct cost, then we get to our profit. So without knowing our cost, how do we set our selling price? Without all this, how do we get our profit? Second thing, we're going to know how do we negotiate, for example, in our line, F&B, how do we negotiate with suppliers? At the moment, when you are having 1 outlet or 2 outlets, maybe your negotiating power is not that strong. But when we are having more outlets, when you are ordering more, we're going to know how to negotiate for bulk discount. When you're ordering 10 times more than before, when you're ordering 20 times more than before, we can ask for bulk discount. Now, of course, last thing is how do we negotiate terms? When we talk about how do we manage finances, okay, I would say what we are trying to look at here is how do we manage our cash flow. So cash flow means how do we, negotiate payment terms or credit terms with supplier so that we can pay them a little bit later, and that amount of money we can use it to do so many other things. We can purchase new stock, or we can use it for renovation, we can spend it for marketing and generate more revenue or more conversion. So when we talk about finances, is how do we negotiate cash flow, how do we manage our cash flow. Profitability, how do we manage our cost structure. Okay.
So what challenges have you faced to do your business, and how you managed to overcome those challenges?
I would say, be it in my business or in any other business, to me, the major challenges is always about just one thing to me. It's always about people matter. People. When we do business, it's a group of people, we come together. It's not a one-man show. So people issue is the most challenging one. How and what do I mean by that is, how do we make sure that we can manage people? And when we say manage people, it's not about we instructing them, like, oh, you do this, you do this, you do that. It's not like a general instructing soldiers. No, we're going to understand. So how do I overcome this? We're going to understand what people want. Every single one, every single human being is driven by different factors, driven by different, desire. What do people want? Some people want career advancement. Some people want money. Some people want recognition. Some people want just, learning opportunity and whatnot. So everyone, they are looking for different things. So how do we manage people? How do we overcome people issue? The first thing, we're going to understand what people want. Second thing, we're going to understand what is the different values or different characteristics of different people. When we're managing a team of 5, a team of 10 people or 15 people or even larger, like our case now, 100 or more, we can understand the differences in every individual. In a team, in an organization, we're going to have diversified, culture, diversified race, and at the same time, we're going to be inclusive. Inclusive means we're going to consider what is the difference in everyone so that we know how do we, collaborate, how do we work alongside. There's no right or wrong, So, I would say understanding the characteristic or the value of everyone is very important.
How did you decide the name of your brand?
Okay, when we are talking about deciding the name or how do we do branding, the name of the brand, I would say one very important thing is we have to understand what is the target customer, what is the target product that we want to do. When we are creating a name for a business, if we are thinking about something that is very, let's say in our line, F&B, if I call myself a very spiritual name or a very abstract name, people may not understand what are you selling. And if we are having that kind of name, one disadvantage is people have to try to understand what are we selling, and then they only decide whether or not they want to buy with us or to come in or not. Okay, if I calling myself, for example, I don't know, Good Sunday. What is Good Sunday? People don't know. If I'm calling myself Padi Kopitiam, people know right away. Okay, Padi is about paddy field, it's about rice. When I say Kopitiam, people know we are selling coffee. We are having drinks, we are having traditional coffee. So when name is precise enough and that is relevant, is related to our product, it reduces the cost of marketing. If you're calling yourself Good Sunday, you have to tell people what is Good Sunday about, what is Good Sunday about, what is Good Sunday about. But if you call yourself Padi Kopitiam, people, oh, this is the Kopitiam, this is selling this, selling that, selling nasi lemak, selling coffee, people know. So when we ask ourselves, how do we name our brand, we're going to know what is our product, what is our brand positioning.
So how do you balance the demands of running business with your personal life?
Very good question. Sometimes, before I go into that question, sometimes when people thinking about, becoming entrepreneur or becoming your own boss, people think that, oh, I can wake up anytime I want. I can sleep, anytime I want. Or I can have, I can have my own life or whatever. Yeah. That is not wrong. That is not wrong. We do. We may have that flexibility, but I would say we are losing on predictability. Meaning, you wouldn't know what time or when or which day your business is going to have problems. It may just pop out like that. Suddenly, maybe at night you're going to address some serious issue. Maybe in the early morning something really pop out, something really happen. Or in the evening or at night, in the middle of the night, let's say our hotel have an issue, or car park have any issue, or when during night operation they don't have any issue. So whenever issue pop up, if it's serious enough, you have to attend to that. So yeah, seems like we do have some flexibility, but we are definitely losing on our predictability. So on that note, it may affect our personal life. Suddenly you think that you can have your meal peacefully, or you can watch your movie or your drama peacefully, but suddenly something just kick in. So that is the misconception. Yeah. And how do I manage that? Actually, it's about adaptability. We have to know how to adapt to issue. How do we change our mindset? When something happens, we have to think. A lot of time we are very reactive, meaning things happen, we respond. Things happen, we respond. Message come in, we reply. Email come in, we reply. If we are doing that, if we are very reactive, our time is controlled by somebody else. Our time is controlled by our team, our business. So one very important thing is about priority. Instead of talking about time management, actually we need to talk about priority management. How do we manage what is priority, what is important, what is not important? When this issue comes up, do we have to attend to that issue ourselves? If not, can we delegate? When this issue comes up, do we have to attend to the issue right now? Is it urgent enough? Or we can wait a while, let the team digest the issue first, then we respond to that, then we react to that. So, you know, it's about priority management, I would say.
How do you manage the quality of your products and the services?
Okay. You know, in business, when we are talking about our product or services, the quality of product or services, I would say there is just one way out. Listen, listen, listen. Who? Listen to our customer. They are the one who is paying. If we are not listening to them, how do we improve the quality? You know, customer is the one they're paying for our product or services, so we're gonna listen to customer feedback. And when we say how do we improve, I would say there's like a 4-step, you know. First, we're gonna listen first. When we listen, so in F&B line, what do? Either we talk to the customer, we get their feedback, or we look at our online public review, our Google review, our Facebook review, our GrabFood review, or wherever the review could be, you know, we just check out on the review. Second thing, after we listen or we gather on the review, second step is to discuss. You know, a lot of time when we know what customers talk about already, we just do not communicate that internally. If we don't communicate, how do we know what to do? So it's very important for us to sit down and discuss internally, have regular meeting, you know, once a week, or you know, daily meeting or whatnot. That's what we are having now. We have daily briefing, we have weekly meeting, we have regular meeting to talk about issue. Third thing is about setting course of actions to address to the issue, to resolve the issue. We listen, we discuss, then we set an action plan. A lot of time when we discuss already, done, okay, done. But you know, there's no action plan, so the issue remains. So there's no point. So we're going to know how to set an action plan. Who do what, how to do, when to do, we're going to know. And very last thing, sometimes even though we set the action plan already, things doesn't work out, or things don't turn out the way we expect.
So how do you build and maintain relationships with your customer or clients?
Okay. As far as F&B is concerned, you know, how do we maintain the relationship? I think the very first thing is we have to take the extra step to make customer remember us. We're gonna remember customer and make the customer remember us. I have one very good example is, you know, we have a brand called Principal Cafe.
Yeah.
And in that cafe, currently we have 2 outlets, you know, one in Jalan Terus, one in Mount Austin.
Yeah.
How do we build the relationship or maintain the relationship? There's one instance when our Principal Cafe Mount Austin branch is open in November. There's one customer. It did. I mean, something. You know, great happened. That customer come back 5 times in just 10 days. Means every other day, this customer, this lady come back, and whenever she come back with different friends. When I got to know that, you know, I was so surprised. I never experienced this before. How can a customer come back to the same restaurant 5 times just in 10 days? And after I look into the details, what I found out is that we have one chef, you know, his name is called Yao. This chef Yao, you know, what he did is he's going the extra mile. He's trying to get the customer, you know, hooked up with us. How? Whenever customer dine in, whenever customer is around, he will always take the time, take the effort to come up from the kitchen and talk to the customer to understand how is their experience, to understand why are they here for, are they celebrating anything, how is their day, how is the food, how is the experience, how is the drinks, how is our service. When we're doing that extra mile, that extra step, the customer feel comfortable. They feel that we are taking care about them, we are paying attention to them. Not just, okay, you come in, I give you a menu, you sit down, you order, you eat, you pay, there you go. No, we're actually building relationship. It's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. So what Chef Yao has done is, you know, going the extra mile to talk to customer and really understand customer. And from there, you know, we managed to close a deal where the customer came back for Christmas private dining. Just one dinner itself, it cost them, you know, 5,000. You know, just one dinner. Yes. So that is from relationship building. That's true case. They came back, you know, they booked our private dining room, they dine in, you know, on Christmas Eve, and there you go. So this is how we build relationship with customer, and at the end, that relationship pays off.
I see. How do you handle the competition in your industry?
Okay. Competition, you know, is ever existing. This thing never stop, you know. Whenever we do something, or when people do something, we'll make reference to them. How can we do the same thing? When we do something, people will make reference to you. How can they do the same thing? And that's when competition occurs. Because everybody, they want sense of security. When they see something is successful, is viable, is doable, they want to do it as well. When competition happens, we have to tell ourselves, in the very first thing is, what are we competing on? If we are thinking about, oh, we are competing on our number of customers. If we are looking at the competition like that, it's not wrong, but probably we have to think, we have to take a step back and think, is it more important, rather than just looking at the customer, we're going to look at what is the numbers. What is our bottom line? A company with, or a restaurant with full house, if their selling price is very low, that's why they are full house, compared to another restaurant, probably they are just half full or 80% full, but the selling price is much better, or their net profit margin is much higher. Probably the latter, the second one is better. So when we compete on the number of customers, wow, there are so many customers, let's take a step back and think. Many customers doesn't mean good profit. Many customers doesn't mean they can sustain for very long. There are a lot of cases, where there's a traditional restaurant selling very good food, tasty food, always full house, have to queue, and 1 day later, bam, it closed down, it shut down. Why? We don't know. It could be nobody taking over, or it could be numbers. Are they making profit? Are they managing their costing well? So when we say how do we handle competition, we have to know what is the benchmark or what is the criteria that we are competing on. And sometimes, when we say competition, this is how we're gonna up the game. Meaning, don't just compete on product. Product can be replicated, can be copy and paste very easily. Okay? What about competing on brand? What about competing on size? Or what about competing on growth? Be long-termism, don't be short-termism. If we're thinking about, wow, today or this weekend, wow, their customer is more or whatever, or we feel so insecure, how come our customer is lesser or whatnot? Let's think about 1 year, 3 years, 5 years down the road. When we first started with one outlet, we feel that, wow, we are so small, only 7 crew, our sales figure is just there. But people are having 2 outlets, 3 outlets, a bigger customer group or whatnot. But if we know where we want to go, our purpose, our objective is become a chain restaurant with many brands under our company, under our group. Once we know that already, we are not competing on product, then we know where we want to go. We are opening outlet, second outlet, third outlet, and now we have 5. And now if I'm looking back 1 year ago, when we just have 1 outlet, it's very different. So we have to be long-termism, don't just compete, very short-term, compete on product. We can compete on our brand, compete on our size, compete on our growth.
How do you plan to sustain and grow your business in long term?
The very first one is always about numbers. That's why there's a word in the world, it's called non-profit organization. Non-profit, we call NGO or whatnot. Yeah, those are not wrong, but business, we are not doing charity. Okay, that's why profitability is important. So it's always about numbers. What is our cost structure? How do we manage our cost? What's our pricing? How do we set our pricing? What's our net profit? Do we have any net profit or not? So numbers are very important. If we do not have enough profit, don't talk about long term. Even short term, we cannot survive. So profitability is important for short term survival. Second thing, if we talk about long term sustainability, we have to think about our business model. Think about it in 2 ways. Short-term survival is about profitability. Long-term survival, long-term sustainability, it's about business model. If, for example, our business model is just, 1 outlet, single outlet, stand alone, there's that much of revenue you can generate, 300,000 maybe. And there's, your team is only that big. So you can't grow very long term. If suddenly one day, touch wood, something happened to your shop, a fire or something happened, your business is gone. But if you're having a different model, for example, you are developing your business through franchise model. You are giving out franchise, you have 2 outlets, 3, 5, 10 outlets, 20 outlets. When you are having a business model that's different from your competitors, you can survive for a longer term because you are not just handling 1 outlet, you have a chain of restaurants. That's what we call a chain restaurant. So business model is very important. And if you talk about business model and numbers together, when we're talking about franchise, we don't just earn money from, selling the product anymore. Franchise earn money not at product level, at brand level. When they sell a franchise, they charge a premium, they charge a price, they collect a franchise fee. Like McDonald's, like Starbucks, like Subway, like Secret Recipe, there are so many other examples. So when we talk about profitability, sustainability in the long term, we're going to find another way to earn profit, not from product, but from the brand name.